Washington County is lending its support to a week-long event leading up to Independence Day. Inside the new county building is a one-of-a-kind display of over 300 historical artifacts from America's past.
Some as small as, unfortunately, a slave tag that was used in Charleston, South Carolina, to show what the slave auctions were like at that time, all the way to massive artifacts such as the EMI lab model of Sputnik 1.
The American Journey Experience Museum has traveled from Texas to St. George to share stories and the history that declared this country the land of the free.
We are originally located in Irving, Texas. However, there was such a strong connection with St. George, Utah, and the incredible history that you guys have in patriotism for America that one of our founders decided that he would love to bring some of our collection here to St. George and show some of the local populace here.
Young docents who shared the stories of the past were there to educate by showing collected artifacts.
One of the most saddest parts of this story is when she's being loaded into the lifeboat. Her father puts her in the lifeboat and she says, "Daddy, aren't you coming with me?" And the dad says, "No, sorry, sweetie. The men are being loaded on the other side of the boat."
A collection from 3 different sources, this rare display dates back centuries and even into more recent times.
We have numerous artifacts from George Washington, whether it be his personal compass that he held for around 54 years, way before he was President of the United States or our commander of the armed forces. We do have his eyeglasses. We even have samples of his hair, as well as artifacts from Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, numerous of our founding fathers, as well as Western history, the pistol belt that Jesse James wore when he was actually assassinated by Robert Ford, and even numerous pieces of Hollywood memorabilia with Captain America's shield, his helmet, Christopher Reeve's Superman costume, R2-D2, so much more.
Those who traveled from far away to see these exhibits were humbled and glad they came.
Just think the whole cross-section of American history is pretty well represented. It shows a lot from beginning to modern times.
And seeing both sides of the story.
Yes.
The positive and the negative, both sides. It's well done.
Just seeing that history in person is incredible, and how much the Bible played a role in the founding of our country, even though people don't want to admit to that anymore.
I found the in-depth information about some of our founding fathers the most interesting, stuff that we didn't read about in the history books.
A lot of people go through a museum and they see things stuck behind protective glass and they think that was a different time, that was a different age, that doesn't really apply to me. However, when you're able to see things so up close and personal, and you have a personal docent leading you through every single aspect of American history, it comes to life.
The 4th of July is the whole purpose of why America became the way that it is today. With the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, it is the whole purpose of why we have this foundation that we have of our country today. And if I'm not showing my strong patriotism for it, then what are we really protecting?
We don't really learn a lot at school anymore. They don't teach us all this anymore. It's been a really great experience. The Declaration of Independence and the pictures of George Washington praying were probably the most memorable experience so far.
The reason why understanding history is important, because if you have forgotten your history, you have forgotten your national identity. Unfortunately, as we look at the United States today, very few percentage of Americans can even recite the Bill of Rights, let alone truly understand what the Declaration or the Constitution really is. And while we tell the story of America through these artifacts, the truth of the matter is the reason why we're doing all of this is because we want people to know what the golden thread of our history is, which is God's providence throughout its entire expanse.
Proceeds from ticket sales from this event will go to Liberty Village, replicating a period in time when freedom was still being fought for.
The next generation, I think, need this education. And there's so much that's here. It gives us the history of our country and the events of the world since the 1776 to the current time.
And even for those people that are just like, oh, cool costumes kind of a thing, it's really special to see all of this coming together and being able to teach it for other people.
History often repeats itself, and so it's a good idea for everybody to remember what's happened so we can learn from our experiences.
Because when we think about the 4th of July, it's talking about what we came from. talked about the oppression that our people went through. And these artifacts are to remind you not just of what some of the greatest men in our country have done, but what some of the common people have done in strive for liberty, in strive for freedom.
Organizers of the American Journey Experience traveling exhibit hope to have it continue across America in the future.
It is our hope that this exhibit will begin traveling in 2024 to any state in the country that wants to have us.
In St. George, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.